I've been a big FromSoft fan since Dark Souls 1, and I'm making this video because I've actually noticed some things that a lot of people haven't talked about, and that's similarities between Elden Ring and Dark Souls 2. Both games suffer from the same issue, but Elden Ring, it doesn't seem to receive the same amount of criticism that Dark Souls 2 did, even though they both have very similar issues. And it is also a much more recent game than Dark Souls 2, which was released in 2014. If a game has the same issue, especially if it's made by the same company or the same devs, the game has the same issues as a game that's made long before it, that if those issues are in the newer game, it should be even less tolerable or tolerated, whichever the word would be. With that being said, I want to preface this video by saying a couple things. I'm not against the challenge. I'm using footage from Sekiro, even though I'm talking about Elden Ring. I can't record Elden Ring in the first place, my PC fucking sucks. But this works anyway because, as you can see in the Sekiro footage, I am playing Charmless, Bell Demon debuff with no vitality upgrades. And this is important because basically I'm challenging myself in Sekiro. I just want that out of the way. I'm not against any sort of challenge as long as it's fun, which is a pretty subjective thing, but just gotta say it. I'd also like to say, just so I don't sound too negative about Elden Ring, because I did like the game, it has a lot of good moments. Exploration is it has the best exploration in any Souls game or any FromSoft game, really. The environments are varied and they pretty much always look nice. I don't remember it ever being just like not liking an area. They all look really nice. Limgrave is probably one of the best opening areas to any like video game ever. I'm not capping, that's true. I'm being honest here. Customization with the Ashes of War is great, and the lore was pretty interesting. It wasn't the best. It's not the best in FromSoft's catalog because there's still Dark Souls 1, Sekiro, and I'd say Bloodborne is slightly above it. I think it's also important to say that recently there have been a handful of videos criticizing Elden Ring, and I just want to make it clear that I've always had these issues with Elden Ring. I didn't make this video because, well, technically I did, because no one was addressing what I was talking about, or what I'm going to talk about in this video. But yeah, so Joseph Anderson, Democracy has a video, Mortismo made a video on it, and there was another guy, I forgot his name, he made a pretty good video on it. This video, it wasn't made because of those guys, for the most part. I've always had these thoughts about Elden Ring. I finished it in, I think, my first 2 weeks of playing it, and these issues have always been on my mind ever since I completed the game. I just decided to make the video now, which I just want to make sure I'm not jumping on a fucking bandwagon here. So according to what I've read, many of the complaints about Dark Souls 2 were about its enemy placement, and I think the same could very much be said about Elden Ring. I can think of some examples off the top of my head. In Caria Manor, when you're walking across the bridges and a bunch of Godric soldiers spawn in and just shoot you from every direction. Farum Azula is just fucking crawling with enemies, which is fair, but it gets to a point where just so many enemies made me want to skip the entirety of Farum Azula. I skipped up until the Godskin duo. I just got tired of the area. There were too many enemies, and stopping to fight every one of them was just becoming tedious and not fun. Another example would be the Haligtree. Gank bosses, the triple Crystallians or whatever the fuck they're called. That was ridiculous. There's a duo of them, Godskin duo. There's a lot of gank bosses in Elden Ring. And for some reason, people think because it's an open world, that means that gives FromSoft a free pass to do that. But in my opinion, I'd rather just not have the gank boss at all. Okay, I just want to go over this one real quick because I already kind of just talked about it. Boss fights. Elden Ring makes Dark Souls 2 blush with the amount of gank bosses that it has. Even just Godskin duo, because clearly they were going for like some Ornstein and Smough type of boss fight here, which they perfected because Ornstein and Smough wasn't perfect. They perfected it in Dark Souls 3 with Sister Fried and Father Ariandel. So that makes me question how FromSoft That makes me question how FromSoft went from Dark Souls 3 to Elden Ring, because it just seems like they forgot everything they learned. What made Sister Fried and Father Ariandel a good boss fight? You know, what made the Demon Princes a good boss fight? It just gets lost in Elden Ring. I think the Godskin duo is definitely possible by yourself. I think the first time I fought them, I played very safely. I used the pillars to separate them, but playing like that, Godskin Duo, you can do that in Dark Souls 1 against Ornstein and Smough because they're not nearly as tanky as the Godskin Duo. So you can fuck them over pretty fast. But Godskin Duo takes forever if you play that way. And I think that's where the issue comes in, where it's just too much patience in my like action RPG game. So in this case, Elden Ring is Dark Souls 2, but worse. Another thing that many Dark Souls 2 haters will complain about, hitboxes. They have every right to complain about it. Elden Ring, I mean, I'll say this, there hasn't been many occasions where I've been hit by something and I was just like, what the fuck hit me? I will say, grabs in particular have pretty awful hitboxes. The most notable one being Astel, where you could be under him and you'll get grabbed. Even though the part he's supposed to grab you with is his face. It's pretty stupid. There's probably a ton of videos on it. I just don't understand it. I don't like, if you're gonna have a broken grab, at least make it so it's not like pretty much a guaranteed one shot, you know? That's all. When it comes to reskins and reused bosses, Dark Souls 2 has Flexile Sentry, Smelter Demon, Rune Sentinels, Executioner's Chariot, and Dragon Rider. I could be missing a few, but those are the first ones that come to mind. I left out Pursuer because he comes back to you for lore reasons, the same reason I'm going to be leaving out Margit in Elden Ring. Elden Ring has Crystallians, Crucible Knights, Bloodhound Knights, Godric, Tree Sentinels, Erdtree Avatars, Ulcerated Tree Spirits, and many more. If we're gonna be counting ones like Mad Pumpkinheads, which appear as boss fights. It's called those meteor beasts. I forgot what they're fucking called. Fully grown comet demon. But those fucking things with the horns they look like stone bulls that control gravity. You fight them 3 times. The magma worms. Yeah, okay, my point is Elden Ring repeats a lot of bosses. And this last one is a little more subjective, but I feel like both of these games tend to lean more towards annoying rather than challenging. And I guess the thing is, I feel like a lot of people tend to split annoying and challenging, but these two games can be annoying because the frustration is like a byproduct of the challenge, the quote-unquote challenge. And this of course also depends on a lot of factors, but the main one for me would be how the challenge is presented. The best example would just be like Dark Souls 1 and like Sekiro. Those are my 2 favorite FromSoft games. Let's say certain enemy placements, like I just talked about, certain enemies, especially in Elden Ring, where a lot of the enemies just fucking, the beast looking enemies, they just fucking flail around, and it's very hard to tell when or what you're supposed to dodge, which was one of the most frustrating things for me while I was playing the game. I can't think of any one example because it's just like a lot of my annoyances from these games come from like a lot of like small things that add up. In Dark Souls 2, it would be like the amount of ganks, the amount of ambushes that were like unreasonable, that kind of stuff. In Elden Ring, it was like the damage numbers, also the ganks, some of the way the enemies fought you, like the worm faces. Their whole deal is just to fucking fill up your status bar, and when that status bar fills up, you get one shot. It's enemies like that. They're so annoying. I don't fight them. Oh, the beast men, when they do like the stupid like 7-hit combo, it's just like, why does this like bum ass enemy have like a 7-hit combo? You know, that's annoying. There's this dragon with a red lightning that by the time I got to him in Farum Azula, he was one-shotting my character with pretty much any of his attacks. And if he didn't one-shot me, he'd be damn near close to one-shotting me. It was really annoying. It's shit like that. There's also a lot of people, I've already said it, Elden Ring has a lot of bosses that do like these long combos, and your reward for dodging the combo is like 1 or 2 hits. It's pretty stupid in my opinion, and you know, you get rewarded, but it doesn't feel like enough of a reward. And these are some things I would just like to make note of, it's unrelated to the main topic of this video. I just wanted to put it in this video because I'm talking about Elden Ring. Let's go over it real quick. I was really disappointed. Even before Elden Ring released, I heard that it was just Dark Souls 3, open world Dark Souls 3. And I was just like, no way, it's just Dark Souls 3. They would never do that. They made Sekiro after like Dark Souls 3. But I was literally wrong. It was just Dark Souls 3. The only thing separating Elden Ring from Dark Souls 3 is Elden Ring has a jump. It is way too close to the Souls formula, and I genuinely feel like FromSoft should continue innovating and just stop going back to the Souls formula for one. If you think about it, there's Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, which was different enough, but you could still play it the same way you played Souls, which is dodges and attacks. Then there was Dark Souls 3, and now there's Elden Ring. But Elden Ring is more insulting because it came after Sekiro, which was such a good game from a gameplay perspective. It was just, I think a lot of people that love the game can agree that the gameplay is miles better than Dark Souls. And it's just a shame to see them go back to that, because for me, when I look at it, I'm just like, oh, FromSoft wanted like a safety net. That's all it is to me. I don't know why they went with the Souls formula. I think it was because they were trying something new, like an open world, so they wanted at least the gameplay to be familiar. I'm tired of the Souls formula. I think FromSoft should leave it to the indie devs that are all trying to still make Souls-like games. I'm just tired of FromSoft doing it. FromSoft is like, they're like the leader. They need to keep trying new things, and if this is the direction that they're going to take their games in now, I don't want anything to do with it. That's just me. I played through Elden Ring once. I tried to get through a second playthrough to like get a new perspective on the game, because I feel like the game did not leave off on a high note. So I made a second character to get a new perspective on it. I stopped that character to start a new character, and then I stopped that character to start another new character, and now I have 4 saves, but I've only beaten the game once. That, for me, for a FromSoft game, that's unheard of. Even Dark Souls 2 I've beat at least 10 times now. And it's just sad because I want to get this new perspective on Elden Ring, because a lot of the late game bosses left a sour taste in my mouth. I want to fight them again to see how I feel about them, but I just can't make it through the game. I'm tired of the gameplay. It's just Dark Souls. Dark Souls is boring now. If I want Dark Souls, I'll play Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 3, or even pull out my PS4 to play Bloodborne. Another thing that has been starting to annoy me, just as of recently, because I just noticed it, NPCs die way too often in FromSoft games. It's like at the end of their quest line, they're always fucking dead. It's like, okay, we got it. These games are like, dark fantasy, and it's like everything's edgy and stuff. It's like, dog, not every NPC needs to fucking die. When the blind girl died in Elden Ring, I was just like, okay, so every NPC is gonna die, huh? So I never got attached to any of them. I didn't give a fuck about like Blyde, EG, and like the prawn guy was kind of sad, but that's because he was like the stupid character that like sold prawns. I didn't give a fuck about him. I don't care that like the dung eater defiled him. It's too predictable. It's an issue in writing in any like sort of like media, anime, video games. Making death predictable is not a good thing unless it's for the story purposes. I can think of some stories that do this really well. FromSoft doesn't. I don't think they've ever had a character that told you, hey, I'm gonna die. If Elden Ring is the direction FromSoft wants to take, that's fine. I'm not gonna act like there's nothing wrong with it. I do think there's something wrong with that, especially with how innovative they can be if they want to. It's just, what the fuck can I do? The only thing I can do is just like look at other game devs and just start playing their games instead. With the success of Elden Ring, this game is pretty much guaranteed Game of the Year. It's been a huge success, not just relative to FromSoft's catalog. It is a huge success in gaming. It is one of the most popular and financially successful games of all time. That's insane. And if FromSoft doesn't lean in on this, I will be very surprised, because even with a game like Sekiro, that game got Game of the Year. It was very successful. FromSoft, just all they did was put out like a free DLC for it, and that was it. Who knows if they're gonna make a Sekiro too, but I feel like it's damn certain that Elden Ring is gonna get at least a DLC on the level of like Bloodborne's The Old Hunters, and I think that's sad, because like I said, if Elden Ring is the direction FromSoft wants to go in, I want nothing to do with it. Like, Elden Ring could just be my last FromSoft game, and it's sad because I was at a point where I was pre-ordering. FromSoft was the only like game devs I pre-ordered from, because I just knew I could trust their games, and I don't regret pre-ordering Elden Ring because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. But if FromSoft were to take the things I didn't like about Elden Ring and put them in another game and make it worse, I would say fuck this. I don't want to play this fucking game. This game's trash. That's just how I feel about it.